House Oversight Committee is launching an investigation into presidential records obtained at former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence. The National Archives has retrieved 15 boxes of records. Some of the materials found reportedly include letters between the former president and North Korea's Kim Jong-un. In a letter to the U.S. Archivist, committee chair and Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney said she was concerned the documents appear to have been removed from the White House in violation of the Presidential Records Act. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane is on Capitol Hill with more on all of this. Scott, what information is the Oversight Committee looking for in this probe?
The Oversight Committee would be the second of two investigations now into the Trump records at Mar-a-Lago, or the Trump records that the archives was supposed to have. They've also asked the Justice Department to investigate, but there's a big difference, Jeff. The Oversight Committee, when it finds records it wants to release to the public, very much will. If they're looking for a paper trail, if they're looking for copies of the documents, it's something they could conceivably obtain and then release to the public. The Justice Department is a much different sphere. They're investigating for potential misconduct or negligence or criminal activity, and they would not release an iota of what they're looking at or finding unless they were to complete an investigation and find misconduct. So what the Justice Department does is shrouded in the secrecy, the protocols of the U.S. Justice Department. What the Oversight Committee is doing could very much be transparent to the American public because the Oversight Committee is not bound to keep things secretive as they find them. So all of this, Jeff, has added a layer of intrigue to these Mar-a-Lago documents, these archives records, an issue that was already teeming with intrigue.
Scott, what potentially sort of timeline are we looking at here?
Oversight committees, congressional committees tend to measure their work in months. They'll do things within this congressional cycle. Of course, Election Day for this year is November, which means the parties could switch control of Congress come January. So they have a finite period of time to do and complete an investigation. The Justice Department tends to measure its work by months and years, not constrained by elections. So we could hear something by spring or summer or by the end of the calendar year.
Okay. Scott, we also have some exclusive reporting tonight on the Oath Keepers founder. His name is Stewart Rhodes. He's awaiting trial for his alleged role in the Capitol riot. What's the latest on this?
Jeff, the highest of high-level defendants is Stewart Rhodes, charged with seditious conspiracy, the founder of the Oath Keepers, who are at the epicenter of the January 6th prosecutions. I'm told in the next 24 hours, he's going to file a new request with the court here in Washington, D.C. to either seek his release from pretrial detention or block his transfer from the federal prison complex in Oklahoma here to Washington, D.C. And there'll be a hearing on that Wednesday of next week for Stewart Rhodes. But in the meantime, Jeff, his defense lawyer tells me the House January 6th Select Committee, which for 6 hours interviewed Stewart Rhodes earlier this month, might take a second crack at him, ask him to come back for more questions after that court hearing. Now, I'm told he invoked his Fifth Amendment rights a lot during that first interview and spoke mostly about things that predate November 2020, including the philosophy and the founding of the Oath Keepers. But there are more questions the committee likely has, and they may take a second chance to ask them.
There are also potential changes here, though, Scott, as well, depending on what happens in the midterms when it comes to the January 6th investigation.
Yes, this committee has an egg timer that's running. They recognize they have to complete their work by summer, if not very early fall, because if control of the House switches to the Republicans, they've been unequivocal. They will very much shut down the House January 6th committee. So they have a deadline, Jeff, but they've got a problem, too. They are inundated by a tidal wave of records and interviews, 500 interviews and 60,000 documents, I'm told, so far, with more people under subpoena, more depositions to come, and they have to synthesize and organize all of that before the egg timer runs out.
Scott, we're out of time, but very quickly, how long before we get a Supreme Court pick from the president?
End of the month is the latest report from the senators who were at the White House today and the last time President Biden spoke of it.
Scott MacFarlane, great to see you. Thanks.